Hi everyone. Have you ever felt like you're doing everything right, but the universe simply isn't listening? You've read the books, you've done the visualizations, and you've repeated the affirmations until you're blue in the face, yet your reality remains stubbornly the same. In my journey, which began back in 2018, I spent years in that exact cycle of frustration and spiritual exhaustion. I thought manifestation was about effort, control, and constant mental work. I spent 8 years searching for the missing piece of the puzzle, only to realize that the very thing I was doing to make it happen was the exact reason it wasn't happening. I'm going to be very honest with you today. Manifestation is not something you do, it is something you are. But getting to that state of being is difficult when your mind is hijacked by anxiety and your ego is obsessed with controlling the outcome. I wasted a lot of time, 8 years to be exact, trying to force the universe to bend to my will. And today, I want to save you from that same struggle. I've condensed nearly a decade of trial, error, and deep discovery into this 30-minute conversation. We are going to go beyond the shallow, think positive advice. We're going to talk about the biology of your beliefs, why your brain actually resists the wealth and happiness you desire, and how to finally stop the noise of anxiety so your true signal can get through. By the end of this video, you will understand the one truth that changed everything for me. Before we dive into the depths of these 8 years of lessons, if you are serious about mastering your reality and want to join a community that values intellectual depth over quick fixes, please subscribe to the channel. Your support helps us keep this high-level content flowing, and I'm honored to have you on this journey with me. The trap of spiritual effort. The early years. It's been 8 years. 8 years since I first opened the door to the world of manifestation, believing I had found the ultimate cheat code to life. I remember 2018 vividly. It was a year of hunger, a year of searching. I dove into the books, the seminars, and the techniques with a level of intensity that, looking back, was actually my first big mistake. I thought that if I just worked hard enough spiritually, the universe would have no choice but to reward me. I believed that manifestation was a transaction. I give you my focus, and you give me my dream. But what I didn't realize then, and what took me nearly a decade to truly embody, is that the harder you try to manifest, the further you push your desires away. In those early years, my life was a cycle of what I call spiritual exhaustion. I was doing everything right according to the textbooks. I had the vision boards, I wrote my affirmations 100 times a day, and I spent hours in forced meditation. But underneath all those rituals, there was a vibrating core of pure anxiety. I wasn't manifesting from a place of power, I was manifesting from a place of desperation. I was trying to use the law of attraction as a weapon against my current reality because I hated where I was. And that is the first hard truth I learned. You cannot create a life you love from a state of hating the life you have. The frequency of, I hate this and I need it to change, is the frequency of lack, and the universe only responds to who you are, not what you want. I spent so much time trying to micromanage the universe. I wanted to control the how, the when, and the who. I thought that if I could just visualize the exact steps, I could force the physical world to bend to my will. This is the illusion of control, and it is the greatest generator of anxiety in the manifestation process. When you try to control the path, you are essentially telling the infinite intelligence that you don't trust it. You are saying, I know better than the field of all possibilities. And because you are focused on the narrow path you've created in your mind, you become blind to the thousands of open doors that are actually surrounding you. Your obsession with the how creates a tunnel vision that keeps you trapped in the very struggle you're trying to escape. I remember nights where I couldn't sleep because I was so busy manifesting. I would lie awake visualizing my bank account or a specific situation, but my heart was racing. That wasn't alignment, that was a panic attack disguised as a spiritual practice. I was addicted to the future because I was terrified of the present. I thought that if I just held the image long enough, I could bypass the laws of physics. But manifestation isn't about holding an image, it's about becoming the frequency. If your body is flooded with cortisol and your mind is looping in what ifs, it doesn't matter how many times you say, I am wealthy, your cells are screaming, I am scared. And the I am scared signal is much louder than your spoken words. This brings us to the core of the problem. Anxiety is the static noise that drowns out your manifestation. In these 8 years, I discovered that the universe operates on a very specific radio frequency. It is the frequency of ease, flow, and certainty. Anxiety, by definition, is a lack of certainty. It is a state of survival. When you are anxious about your manifestation, you are in fight or flight mode. In this biological state, your creative brain shuts down. Your body thinks it's being chased by a predator, so it doesn't care about your dream house or your soulmate. It only cares about surviving the next 10 minutes. We try to manifest from this state, and then we wonder why nothing is happening. We are trying to build a skyscraper on a foundation of shifting sand. I see so many people today doing exactly what I did back in 2018. They are overworking their manifestation. They are chasing the clock, checking their bank accounts every 5 minutes, looking for signs and getting frustrated when things don't happen on their timeline. This frustration is the ultimate manifestation killer. It's like planting a seed and then digging it up every hour to see if it's growing. By digging it up, you kill the process. The act of checking is the act of doubting. I had to learn that the time it takes for a manifestation to arrive is directly proportional to how much resistance I am putting in its way through my need for control. In my journey, I discovered that the most powerful thing you can do is actually the most difficult for the ego, to be okay with the not yet. For years, I thought that being okay with not having it meant I didn't want it enough. I thought I had to be hungry and driven. But hunger implies a hole that needs to be filled. If you feel like there's a hole in your life, the universe will simply give you more hole. It was only when I reached a point of total surrender, when I said, I desire this, but I don't need it to be happy, that the floodgates finally opened. This is the middle way. It's the sweet spot between clear intention and total detachment. If I could go back to my 2018 self, I would tell her to stop trying so hard. I would tell her that the anxiety she feels isn't a sign of her passion, but a sign of her resistance. I would tell her that the control she is trying to exert is actually a cage. These 8 years haven't been about learning new techniques. They've been about unlearning the habit of struggle. They've been about training my nervous system to feel safe in the unknown. Because that is where the magic happens, in the space where you don't know how, but you are absolutely certain that it is done. The biology of belief and the survival system. To understand why those 8 years of my journey were so filled with struggle, we have to look past the spiritual metaphors and dive into the actual biology of your body. One of the most profound truths I discovered is that your body doesn't know the difference between an actual event and a thought you are repeating with high emotional intensity. In 2018, when I was constantly anxious about my future, my body believed I was in a state of emergency every single day. I was trying to manifest abundance, but my biology was stuck in survival mode. You see, manifestation requires an elevated emotional state, gratitude, joy, or the feeling of it is done. But these emotions are physically impossible to sustain when your nervous system is flooded with cortisol and adrenaline. When you are obsessed with controlling the how and when of your manifestation, you are triggering your brain's survival mechanism. Your amygdala, the part of the brain responsible for fear, takes over. In this state, your body is literally stealing energy from your creative centers to fuel your defense systems. You aren't in a state of creation, you are in a state of protection. For years, I didn't realize that I was actually addicted to the stress of not having what I wanted. This is a concept that sounds strange at first, but it is scientifically grounded. When you live in a state of lack and anxiety for a long time, your cells become accustomed to those specific chemical signals. My body felt at home in the struggle. Even when I tried to think positively, my body would subconsciously create situations to bring me back to that familiar feeling of stress. I was trying to change my life with my conscious mind, but my subconscious body was holding on to the past like an anchor. This is where the trap of control becomes so dangerous. We think that by worrying and micromanaging, we are being productive. We feel that if we let go of the control, everything will fall apart. But in reality, the control is the very thing keeping us trapped in the old cycle. Control is a high beta brainwave state. It is narrow, focused, and tense. To manifest, you need to move into alpha or theta states, where your brain is expansive and relaxed. You cannot catch a radio signal if you are constantly shaking the antenna. As I share this realization about how our biology traps us in the old self, I want to pause for a second and ask you, have you ever felt this internal tug of war? Have you ever noticed that even when you are trying to move forward, a part of you seems to pull you back into the same old worries? If this resonates with you, let me know in the comments. How has the need for control shown up in your life recently? I'd love to hear your perspective as we dive deeper into how to break this cycle. Breaking this survival system was the hardest part of my 8-year evolution. I had to learn that the anxiety I felt wasn't a signal from the outside world. It was a memory from my body. When you feel that tightness in your chest or that racing heart while you are visualizing your goals, that is your survival system telling you that change is dangerous. To your brain, the known, even if it is a life of lack, is safer than the unknown, even if it is a life of wealth. To manifest the life I have now, I had to train my body to feel safe in the abundance before it actually arrived. I had to teach my nervous system that it was okay to let go of the how. This is what people mean when they talk about living in the end, but they often forget the biological component. You cannot live in the end if your body is still living in the past. You have to literally rewire your emotional response to your reality. Instead of waiting for the money to feel wealthy or waiting for the love to feel whole, you must master the art of producing those chemicals internally first. During those 8 years, I learned that the most powerful technique isn't a mantra or a special meditation. It is the ability to observe your anxiety without becoming it. It is the ability to notice when your ego is trying to grab the steering wheel and gently tell it to sit down. When you stop trying to control the universe, you finally give the universe the space to breathe life into your intentions. You move from a manager of reality to a co-creator with it. We often think that anxiety is a sign that we need to do more. We think, if I'm anxious, I must not be doing enough affirmations. But the truth is the opposite. Anxiety is a sign that you are doing too much with the ego and not enough with the soul. It is a signal to stop, to breathe, and to return to the present moment, because the present moment is the only place where the survival system cannot exist. In the now, there is no past to regret and no future to fear. There is only the frequency of your existence, and that is where the manifestation is born. The mystery of letting go, the middle way. In my 8-year journey, the concept I struggled with the most was the idea of letting go. I used to hear people say, just release it to the universe, and it felt like the most frustrating advice possible. How can you let go of something you want so desperately? How can you release a dream that feels like it's the only thing that will fix your life? For a long time, I thought letting go meant giving up. I thought it meant that I had to stop wanting my desire, or that I had to be indifferent to whether it happened or not. But in 2018, I began to realize that letting go isn't about the desire itself. It's about letting go of the resistance, the anxiety, and the need to control the timeline. This is what I call the middle way. It is the razor's edge between clear, powerful intention and total detachment from the outcome. Most people fall into one of two traps. They are either so obsessed with their goal that they create a wall of resistance through sheer force, or they are so detached that they have no direction at all. The secret that took me nearly a decade to embody is that manifestation happens in the space where you hold the vision in your mind, but you don't need it to complete your soul. When you need a manifestation to happen so that you can feel happy, successful, or safe, you are broadcasting a signal of lack to the universe. And the law of attraction, being a mirror of your current state, can only reflect back more of that lack. Letting go is the ultimate act of faith. It is the moment you stop shouting at the universe and start listening. When I was in my first few years of this journey, I was constantly shouting. My visualizations were loud, my affirmations were frantic, and my energy was dense. I was trying to convince the universe that I was ready, but my very effort proved that I didn't believe it was already mine. Think about it. If you truly knew that a check for $1 million was coming in the mail tomorrow, would you spend all night pacing the floor, visualizing the check, and crying out for it to arrive? No, you would sleep like a baby. You would be at peace. That peace is the frequency of "it is done," and you can only reach it when you let go of the struggle. This brings us to the danger of obsession. When we obsess over a sign, an hour on the clock, or a specific date, we are vibrating in a state of not having. Obsession is the ego's way of trying to guarantee a result because it doesn't trust the invisible process. But the invisible process is the only thing that actually creates the visible result. I had to learn to treat my manifestations like a seed planted in a garden. I do my part, I plant the seed, the intention, and I water it, the elevated emotion, but I don't dig it up every 10 minutes to see if it's sprouted. Digging it up is the equivalent of checking your bank account with anxiety or wondering why it's not here yet. The moment you check with doubt, you kill the growth. The middle way is about being so present in your current life that you don't even notice the time passing before the manifestation arrives. In these 8 years, I noticed a recurring pattern. Every time a major manifestation finally showed up, it was at a moment when I was so busy enjoying my life or focused on my growth that I had actually forgotten to worry about it. I wasn't obsessed. I had moved from wanting to being. This is the paradox of the law of attraction. You get what you want only when you no longer need it to survive emotionally. I want to talk about the physical sensation of letting go. It feels like a long, deep exhale. It's the moment you stop holding your breath. For years, I was spiritually holding my breath, waiting for the external world to change so I could finally relax. But the universe doesn't respond to your relaxation after the event. It responds to your relaxation as the cause of the event. When you relax, you lower the walls of resistance. You become a path of least resistance for the universe to deliver your desire. Have you ever noticed that things seem to work out the moment you finally stop stressing about them? Let me know in the comments. The mystery of letting go is actually the mystery of trust, trusting that there is a higher intelligence that knows the shortest, most efficient, and most harmonious path to your goal. Your logical mind can only see the paths that have already been walked. It is limited by your past experiences, but the field of infinite possibilities can see paths that haven't even been created yet. When you stop trying to control the how, you allow the universe to use its infinite creativity to bring you what you want in ways you couldn't have imagined. I remember a specific period around 2021 when I was trying to manifest a specific professional breakthrough. I had worked myself to the bone, used every technique in the book, and was still met with silence. I was exhausted. One morning, I just sat down and said, "I'm done. I love this dream, but I'm not going to let it ruin my peace anymore. If it happens, great. If not, I am still whole." Within 2 weeks, the exact opportunity I had been chasing for years fell into my lap without me lifting a finger. That was the day I truly understood the power of the middle way. I hadn't given up on the dream. I had given up on the pain of wanting the dream. So, how do you practically find this balance? You start by anchoring yourself in the now. You use the 30-minute practice I will teach you in the next block to align your energy, and then you go about your day as if the manifestation is already a settled fact in your history. You don't look for it because you don't look for things you already have. You stop being a seeker and you start being a receiver. In the 8 years since I started this path, this has been the hardest lesson to maintain because the world is constantly trying to pull us into a state of urgency. The world tells you need to hustle, grind, and make it happen. But in the realm of manifestation, the more you hustle with your ego, the more you push the soul's creation away. The middle way is the path of effortless effort. It is the path where you take inspired action when the universe moves you, but you remain as calm as a deep ocean underneath the surface. Inspired action, the 30-minute masterclass. Now that we've deconstructed the barriers of the survival system and understood the delicate balance of the middle way, I want to give you the practical synthesis of these 8 years. If I had to boil down everything I've learned since 2018 into a single daily 30-minute practice that actually moves the needle, this is it. This isn't just another technique, it is a recalibration of your entire being. Most people fail because they try to do a technique while remaining the same person. This practice is designed to change who you are in relation to your desire. The first 10 minutes are dedicated to deconditioning the survival body. As we discussed, you cannot create from a state of stress. You must start by signaling to your nervous system that the emergency is over. This involves deep, rhythmic breathing designed to move you out of high beta and into alpha brainwave states. During this time, you aren't thinking about your goals, you are simply becoming pure consciousness. You are letting go of your name, your problems, and your identity. This is the reset button. By clearing the slate, you remove the static of anxiety that has been blocking your signal for years. The next 10 minutes are about emotional pre-living. This is where most people get it wrong. They visualize the thing, the car, the house, the money, but they feel the lack of it. In this 30-minute protocol, you don't focus on the object, you focus on the chemical signature of having it. If you had that breakthrough right now, how would your chest feel? How would your shoulders drop? You practice generating the feeling of relief and gratitude until your body literally believes the event has already happened. You are training your cells to accept a new reality. You are becoming a magnet because you are finally vibrating at the frequency of the result, not the pursuit. The final 10 minutes are for surrendering the how. In this stage, you offer your intention to the infinite field, and then, and this is the most crucial part, you practice the feeling of total detachment. You mentally say, this or something better. You consciously release the need to know how it will arrive. You are essentially telling the universe, I trust your timing and methods more than my own. This final step is what prevents the return of the control habit throughout the rest of your day. It leaves you in a state of inspired expectancy. The key to this masterclass is understanding the neuroscience of reward. When you practice this for 30 minutes, you are essentially priming your brain's frontal lobes to look for opportunities that align with your new state. You move from the survival centers of the brain to the creative centers. This 30-minute session is not a ritual you do to get something later. It is the rehearsal for the life you are about to live, the moment you open your eyes. You must carry this sense of it is done into your daily chores, your work, and your interactions. If you spend 30 minutes in abundance and 23 hours in lack, the 23 hours will always win. The goal is to make the 30 minutes so emotionally real that your body stays in that state of fullness, even when challenges arise. This is the secret to collapsing time. When the future feels like the present in your nervous system, the physical world has no choice but to catch up. If this deep dive into the 30-minute masterclass and the lessons of my 8-year journey has brought you value, please subscribe to the channel. My goal is to move beyond the surface of manifestation and give you the intellectual and spiritual tools to truly master your reality. Helping the channel grow allows me to keep bringing this level of depth to you every week. 8 years of searching led me to this simple truth: you don't have to chase what you are already vibrating. I want to take a moment to truly thank all of you for staying until the end, for watching, and for being here with us on this journey. Your support and your commitment to your own growth are what make this channel possible. It is a privilege to share these discoveries with you. I'll see you in the next video. If you want to dive even deeper into the archetypes and the psychological foundations of everything we've discussed today, I highly recommend checking out my books. They are designed to be your permanent companions on this path of transformation, offering details that we simply can't cover in a single video. The links are in the description below.